to this Hiring Our Heroes employer panel, which focuses on opportunities on seasonal work. This is a great way to start off the week as you prepare to transition from the military. My name is Valerie Camacho, and I am the program manager for the Military Fellowship Program here at Hiring Our Heroes for Florida. And I'm very pleased to be your host this afternoon. We also want to thank our event sponsors for making everything we do here at Hiring Our Heroes possible. Our panelists joining us today are all committed to hiring military talent and here to talk to us about in-demand skill sets, resources, and tips for getting hired. Now to our panelists. Let's start our conversation today by each of you introducing yourself, any military or professional background, details about your role in your company industry. Our first panelist we can go ahead and start with is Cassandra from Amazon.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cassandra Gaston. I am a staffing manager for the Southeast Division of Workforce Staffing with Amazon. I come from an extensive military family. I actually attended the U.S. Naval Academy, class of 97, so go Navy, beat Army. And I have been with Amazon for the last 4 years. I started actually in the Transportation and Logistics Division and moved over to Workforce Staffing. So it is my group that hires all of the Tier 1 entry-level associates. We have over 1 million employees and hire several 100,000 every year. So as to date, we have already hired 20,000 military veterans and spouses. So thank you so much for having us and including us in this webinar.
Awesome. Thank you, Cassandra. Next, we have Matt.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Matt Birch. I'm a store manager with Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, and I've been with the company for just about 14 years now, running and managing stores all over the country. I am not a veteran myself, so I can't speak to that. That said, I've had the great opportunity to work with a lot of veterans in my line of work, whether it's at the management level, the outfitter level, the hourly lead level. Got a great company and a great organization that absolutely supports our vets and spouses, and a lot of great opportunities hiring, especially as we come into our busy season of the fourth quarter and the holiday gift buying season. So thank you very much for the opportunity to be here and speak to everybody.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. And last, we have Mark from InstaWork.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mark Kaplan. I'm the Vice President of Hospitality Partnerships at InstaWork. And like Matt, I am not a veteran myself, but I am the proud son of an Army veteran and have also worked with lots of great folks over the years in my career and had just a wonderful experience at both the management level and the frontline employee level. So a little bit about InstaWork. We are a flexible staffing company. We've been in business for about 7 years. We are active in almost 40 markets around the country, the United States, and a couple in Canada. And we help all types of folks with all types of opportunities. So people that are looking for, event type work or extra income, when you're not working your full-time job. And then a huge segment of our business are people that are working full-time roles and temp to hire roles and things like that. So excited to talk with you all today and thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you for being with us, Mark. And with that, we're going to go ahead and jump into our questions. Again, if you all have any questions, please put them in the Q&A box and I'll go ahead and read them. But for the most part right now, we're going to go ahead and get started. Our first question we have is, are training certifications important and which ones do I need if I am looking for a career in your company? Are there any particular skills you're looking for? And whoever wants to come off mute, you can go ahead and come off mute and answer that from your company.
I don't mind starting that one. For our company, we have a variety of jobs out there. So a lot of hospitality and food service jobs. And in that world, it is helpful to have things like a food handler's card. It's also helpful to have safe alcohol service training, which has different names around the country, depending on what state you live in. We have a product on our platform called InstaWork University that helps people get those certifications. So most of them are very simple to complete and very simple to get, and they do help open the doors. And then on the more light industrial side of our company, where we support warehouses and shipping and production companies, things like that, there are helpful certificates to have with like pallet jacks and things like that. And we also help facilitate those. So I think anytime you have a certification in any career, you should be proud of it, and you should boast it. So put it on your resume, tell people you have it. And if you don't have something, don't let it stop you from applying for jobs. I think that most companies today, we all need more people to come to work. I think that's true for almost every company. And so the more willing you are to learn how to get something or ask, most companies will help you get the certifications you need.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark. Did you want to add to that, Cassandra?
So the way that our team is set up, for all of our general entry level warehouse, we actually don't require any specific certification. So we welcome all experience and skill sets, but of course we're going to train you from the ground up. What I do love about us is that the amount of free education and upskilling and programs within our organization is some of the best that I have ever seen, and it's open to everyone. So if you're interested in obtaining that certification, say for AWS, or you want to go get your Lean Six Sigma belt, pretty much whatever it is that you're interested in, we can help facilitate that. And 99% of the time, it's at no cost to you. So we really welcome that level of interest, but we don't require it on the front end.
That's great to hear. Thank you. And what about you, Matt?
Yeah, I would say probably similar to both Mark and Cassandra. In the retail environment, there is no pre-training or certifications that are needed to come into this environment. We teach and train and bring people up to speed with every job function that we hire for. And, there's plenty of things that you can come in with from an expertise standpoint, or, Mark talked about pallet jacks and forklift equipment. We have roles that encompass that as well. So if people have that prior experience, that absolutely does help. That said, we would still put them through our training program to get them up to speed and have all the certifications needed to do any function in the retail environment. As far as our corporate office goes, I can't really speak to that. There may be some higher level positions that may require certain certifications, or maybe on an asset protection side that those type of things would be a little bit more handy for. But within the retail environment, everything that we would require or request would all be trained in.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so for our next question we have, it is, what are the high demand needs at this time? And what are the top roles you're hiring for? Any top locations, specific locations? We can go ahead and go with Mark again, if you'd like.
Sure. So it is my favorite time of year. It's football season has just started. And so for us, we support nearly every NFL stadium around the country. And at those stadiums, we have a variety of roles. So a lot of them, we are supporting concession type roles where you work in the concession stands, either preparing food or selling it. We have luxury suites where we need event servers and bartenders and things like that. We have retail operations where there's a need for merchandisers and cashiers. There's also cleaning roles at a lot of the stadiums, either during or after the game, where they hire a lot of people to help clean up. And then there are certain security roles too at stadiums, like people that ticket takers and people that check bags and things like that. And it's a really fun environment to work. So it doesn't have to be your career forever, but it's a pretty fun way to make a couple bucks. The pay is usually surprisingly good for these roles out there. So we have a lot going on with football. And then one of the things that I wanted to highlight with this audience is we use a position often, and especially in stadiums, that we call on-site captains. And these are folks that we rely on as a company to be our eyes and ears and our management on site at these events to help, check in large groups of staff, to keep people organized. And there's probably no better fit than someone with a military background to do that role. So I think that there's some pretty fun opportunities and a good fit there for those on-site captains. And then school is also starting a lot of higher education, a lot of colleges. So we're seeing a lot of customers in that space right now. And those are a lot of cooking jobs. So line cooks, prep cooks, dishwashers, things like that. And just like the stadiums, those can be, if you want full-time work, there is full-time work there. If you don't want full-time work and you just want to work when it works for your schedule or convenience, then that's available as well. And then our warehousing and shipping and that segment of our business is always hiring. They always need people. I'm sure Cassandra can back me up on that, but there's always a need there. So lots of opportunities. And then lastly, internally for our company, we've seen tremendous growth over the last couple of years. When I started with the company, we were at about 85 internal employees. We are over 400 employees now. less than 2 years later, and expect to be at almost 800 next year. So we have a lot of really cool internal roles too for people that are looking for next career steps, things like that. A lot of account management roles, sales roles. If anybody has the technical aspect, we have a lot of programming and software type roles, but lots of opportunity everywhere out there today.
That's good to hear. And what about you, Cassandra?
So again, our general warehouse is a little unique. If you look at the job requisitions, all of the titles are going to say general warehouse associate. However, where it's differing is going to be into what business line you choose. So, what you may be doing at, say, an Amazon Air site is going to be a little bit different from what you choose to do at a sortation center or a fulfillment center. So what I like is that the applicants have a chance to get onto our website, really look at the different types of buildings where we have a more detailed description, as well as a video saying, hey, this is a day in the life of, say, somebody stowing inventory at a fulfillment center or somebody who might be working in a delivery station. So the title's the same, but as far as what they get to do, there are just so many options. And of course, we are also, warehousing. There's never a lack of, I'm so sorry. I do not know why that happened. We never have a lack of need, right? So of course, for us, it's the peak season, which is a huge time of year for us getting into Christmas. And we are looking for right now, from now until the end of the year, over 350,000 employees to help us with our warehouses across the country. Most of that is seasonal work. However, you can definitely get regular employment as well. I would say some of our more intensive markets are probably going to be Georgia, Texas, Maryland, Ohio, Alabama. Of course, we're everywhere across the country. Some states have some more needs than other, but there are plenty of jobs out there.
That's good to hear. And yes, with the holidays coming, for sure, we know Amazon is a beast in itself. So we know that definitely those positions are going to be open. And what about Matt?
I'd say, Cassandra, I appreciate that holiday season and what you provide to all of us. I would say we've got a lot of positions, right? We are currently in the peak season of hunting. We're into September, and depending on where you live in the country, the hunting seasons are opening up as it rolls across. There's a lot of good fall fishing across the country as well. So lots of positions on our sales floor. Obviously, we don't have self-checkout, right? So we always need cashiers, and there's a heavy lift for that. And warehouse, the goods got to come in to get to the floor, so we got to get them brought in, received, and stocked. And we've got a lot of positions open across the board. We actually have a hiring event here in a couple of weeks on September 21st and 22nd in all stores. So walk in, get an immediate interview on spot, and potentially a job offer in that moment. Right now, seasonally speaking, we only have a position seasonal at our club booth. So where we do our club MasterCard for our customers, where we sign them up and create some great loyalty with our customers. And then in October, we run another big seasonal event where we hire all of our Santa's helpers. If you haven't been into a Bass Pro Shops or Cabela's during Christmas, we bring Santa, and all the kids and the families love to be a part of that. So we post all those more into October. So October 12th and 13th is our seasonal hiring event for that. But plenty of positions open all across the country, lots of different retail stores, obviously the distribution centers and the corporate office. Plenty of spots open. There's something for everybody, I guarantee you. And in a lot of markets, we have multiple stores. In the Austin, San Antonio area, we've got 3 stores. So depending on where people live and where they're at, there's plenty of opportunity.
And that's good to hear, for sure. Like we said, we know that this is a seasonal topic. So we know with the holidays coming up and things are revving up, we know how crazy it must get for you all. With that said, how can job seekers connect with and ensure that they are competitive for those opportunities with your organization or industry? Whoever wants to go, you can go. Mark.
Sure. So my suggestion, at least the way it works on our platform, so for folks that are interested in checking out Instawork, it's really simple. You go to the App Store, type in Instawork, you'll see our app there, you download it. You create a profile on there that includes your experience, your background, some questions about you. We'll ask for some references that you'll put in there. We have some skills tests for our more skilled positions that you fill out. You have the ability to upload any certifications that you have, things like that. But my suggestion is take a few minutes while you're doing that and build a profile that you're proud of. We give you the tools there to kind of brag about your experience and your skills. and being able to put that on there in a meaningful way will help you, because not only will you be offered work to folks, there are employers out there that can browse the people that we have on our platform in a certain area. And so it's searchable. So they're going to be looking for experience. They're going to be looking for, positions that you've done. And as they find folks that seem like a good fit, they have the ability to then add them to their roster on their account and offer you work directly. So it's really about just self-promoting, making sure that you create a good profile so that you're interesting to those businesses that are trying to hire. And then, being quick to respond. So when you do get those job offers, if they are a good fit or something you're interested in, jump on them quick when you have them. And the way it works in our platform, once you show up and work, those businesses will give you a thumbs up rating or a thumbs down rating. And so the more thumbs up you get, the better you can grow on our platform and qualify for top pro levels is what we call it. And they come with higher pay, bonuses, first access to jobs, and something we call instant pay, which lets you get paid for your shift as soon as it's done. So a lot of cool advantages there to reward people that do a great job. And I'm sure this community all would do a great job. So that would be my advice: is make a great profile, pick up the jobs when you see them, and do a great job when you're there, and the rest will take care of itself.
Yeah, and with that, do you have, once they do apply, is there anything that makes them, that will ask if they're a veteran or a military spouse or anything like that affiliated with the military?
There is, and we actually have we'll share a link to it, but we have a page dedicated to this group, so you can apply straight through there, and we can fast track and try to help everyone out.
Okay, great. How about you, Cassandra?
So I'm not going to speak to any of our corporate hiring, but regarding the warehouse, we have really made an effort to make this as streamlined as possible. So for example, if the candidate goes to our landing page, which we also, just like Mark, we have a military specific landing page, and they go to apply, they set up a profile. What makes us unique is we don't actually require the resume or the interview for General Warehouse. They can go in, they can see every single job opening within 30 miles. They can pick what shift they want, what business type. It'll show the pay, it shows the schedule, it shows apps, all of the benefits, has that job description plus the video. Once they select that, then they do have to come see us for an in-person appointment for some administrative processing, but they literally have a contingent offer at that point. So the only thing that we're waiting on would be a basic background check and a drug test, typically come back in 7 to 10 days, and then they leave with a confirmed offer and a start date. So it is one of the easiest processes I think I've ever seen regarding this type of hiring. So like I said, we just try to make it as easy as possible. And of course, we give opportunities for our veterans and our military spouses to identify themselves as well.
Thank you. And yeah, for it being easy, I think that's good for our military, especially with, them transitioning, or our military spouses. Sometimes, jobs, just being a job seeker in itself can be very stressful and very difficult. And so making it easy, I think definitely will help them along with this process. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, I think the original question was about kind of separating themselves, right, and having an eager way to get through. And I would tell you, we're in a full customer service industry, right? And there's some positions here within our retail environments that are behind the scenes, and there's a lot of great vets that do a lot of those jobs as well. In the front of house, I think, a good way to separate themselves, our application process is pretty simple. Go to bassproshops.com or cabela's.com. They can search what positions, they go to the career site, search what positions are available and what they want, build a profile, and select the positions that they want to apply for. And I would encourage anybody, right? If you want the job and you want to come work for us, give us a call, right? Give a call to the store and ask for the HR rep or ask for a manager. And it's a great way to separate yourself from the other candidates. Our HR team reviews all candidates that come in, and, everybody that qualifies for the position, we'll give them a phone call, do a phone screen, and set them up for a face-to-face interview. That's kind of how our process goes. But I always would encourage somebody, if you want to work here, give us a call or come by the store, right? If you've got time and want to stop by, introduce yourself, separate yourself from other people. And really what we're looking for is people that enjoy the outdoors, share the excitement for that, and really share the excitement for having a passion for customers and really truly driving customer service. There's nothing that we do at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's that forces a customer to have to shop with us, right? everything that they do when they come into our stores is to accentuate something that they enjoy and share a passion that they have. And so it's so important that we hire people. They don't have to be expert fishermen or expert hunters, right? But do they like to be outside? Do they like to interact with people? Do they like to create memories for folks? Because what we sell ultimately creates memories for families, right? It's the picture that gets put up on the wall forever. And we get to be a part of that at the early stages of that process. So we're really looking for people that want to be a part of that from a service side.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that. We do have a question in the chat. Someone is asking if any of your companies or organizations have any current jobs in IT or cybersecurity.
We have tons. all our software is done in-house. So I won't say half, but probably now that we've grown so much, probably about 30% of our overall company, so about 100 people around there are part of our IT section. So we definitely have opportunities there.
Awesome. Thank you. Cassandra, you were saying as well, you too?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anybody who knows Amazon is familiar with AWS. And that's just one arm of many things and many divisions and companies that we own. Of course, I'm not responsible for that corporate side. I would definitely say, please go to amazon.jobs, check that out. The other thing that I did is I did put my email address in the chat. Even though I can't directly assist with that, if somebody does want to reach out to me, I can try to, find information, help with some of, navigating our website, which, can be a little bit overwhelming sometimes. I can do some assistance. It's just a little bit out of my wheelhouse, but I'm happy to help wherever I can.
Awesome. Thank you. And Matt?
Yeah, I would say in the retail stores, there are no IT level type positions within the store environments, but within our corporate office, and I know they've got some satellite positions potentially available. I don't know, I can't speak to what is open and what's available, but on our career site, that's absolutely able to be found.
Great. So it's safe to say everybody should have a chance to be able to apply for a position in IT or cyber. I do have another question from Manuel. The question states, I have no customer service experience. Would a college certificate in customer service be of any use in the retain sector or substitute for my lack of experience in customer service?
You want me to jump on that one?
If you want to, sure.
Yeah. So I would think, a lot of, from a customer service standpoint, we don't necessarily need a certification or what it was that you were referencing. I would say, a lot of it is, do you like people? Do you like to be around people? Do you like to speak to people? Are you approachable? Do you have good, do you have energy, right? I mean, that's what a lot of that stuff is. So the rest of it's teachable. At the end of the day, it's, do you like being around people and do you like having conversations with people? And if you like those things, you can do customer service, right? Then it's just a matter of learning the products and learning, how we do things, how we process stuff, and the different aspects of the levels of customer service that we offer. But, general customer service is smiling, saying hi, and welcoming somebody to your environment and having a good conversation with them.
Awesome. Yes. Anybody else want to add to that?
I would just agree that, especially with the customer service jobs, if you have the right attitude and the willingness, that's 90% of customer service. So I think anybody will give you a shot in that realm.
Awesome. So we have another question. Juan is asking if there are any seasonal jobs in HR or HRM that you all know of currently.
So I will say that with Amazon, we do have such a thing, but typically they are people that come from the warehouse. So a lot of our jobs like that, seasonal HRAs or even seasonal IT, things like that, come from our warehouse force. So you may not often see those externally, but we have those opportunities from an internal standpoint.
Anybody else with HR?
We don't.
I was going to say go ahead, Mark.
I was just going to say, I don't think we have anything posted for that today, but we do internships sometimes. And I would say that perhaps that would fall in a similar realm as that. So I would certainly be completely open to taking somebody's email a resume or whatever and passing it on to that team to see if there's any interest or opportunities there.
And I was just going to say, I know at the retail store level, there are no seasonal HR roles or positions. We do have HR coordinators in all of our stores. There may be some seasonal HR type stuff at our corporate office in Springfield, but there's definitely not any in the retail environment.
Great. And Marilyn is asking if there are any, I guess she has seen that on Amazon that there are a lot of work from home jobs. Do any of you all, we'll start with Cassandra, but any of y'all have any work from home positions?
So I get this question a lot. I think what happens is sometimes they'll see advertisements, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Marilyn, but we'll see those on other platforms that may not be ours directly. So what I always tell job seekers is go to amazon.jobs directly, search for remote or virtual. But the other thing is, and I know this sounds a little crazy, but read through the job descriptions, because sometimes it won't necessarily be in the filter or in the title, but yet if you go through the job description, it will say, hey, remote or virtual considered, or some kind of a hybrid considered. So I always recommend reading through the actual job description as well. But first and foremost, make sure that you go to amazon.jobs directly.
Great. And Mark, were you going to say something?
Happy to answer that one. For us, we do have some remote jobs. It's not all of our, it's certainly the internal positions, not the ones that are posted on our platform. I think all of those are on site, but internally we do have some remote positions. And similar to Cassandra, I would recommend checking out our posting for internal jobs, and you can select by location, and one of those locations is remote.
That's good to know. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, nothing in the retail environment would be remote, but potentially through the corporate office.
Great. Awesome. And for our next question, we have here, culture is such an important factor in a job candidate's decision to apply and or accept an offer with a certain company. How would you describe the company culture? We can go ahead and go with Matt, if you like.
It's absolutely amazing. I've worked in retail for as long as I've worked, and nobody does it on purpose, but you stumble into it, and if you enjoy it, you stay after it. But I can tell you, in the 14 years with this company, the culture of the organization and the culture driven by our owner, Johnny Morris, who is extremely attached to this company and extremely passionate about conservation and employees and customers. And I've never been able to be a part of somewhere that I feel like I matter, and that what I do matters, and that everybody on my team, what they can contribute matters, and that their voice means something. It's really an honor to be a part of this team, especially in the role that I'm in. And at this time, it's a great company, a great organization that's got great roots that are all about people. It's just all about people. And we're very fortunate to have John Morris as our owner. He's very well connected to this company, and shows up in stores and wants to shake hands with the outfitters and learn about them and talk to them. And that goes through the entire organization. When people come in and want to visit and meet, they truly get down to the grassroots of all the employees that are there. And it's a great organization. I could probably talk about that for the next 2 hours if you like, but share lots of examples that are pretty incredible about what we do for our employees.
Well, that's definitely good to hear. That's a good sign if you could say you can talk about culture for 2 hours. What about you,
and that'd be a short conversation.
Yeah.
with lots of great perks too, right? You get great discounts for all of our employees, which is wonderful.
That is wonderful. How about you, Cassandra?
So very similarly, I could probably talk for an hour or two about this. I am so impressed with the culture at Amazon. We're typically ranked in the top 5 for places to work. I know this year we were like number 1 with LinkedIn, and I think 4 with Forbes, but it goes beyond that, right? We have 16 leadership principles, and they're very similar to military tenets. Things like customer obsession, ownership, and bias for action are just a few examples. But one of the ones we added most recently was striving to be the world's best employer. And that comes from people. So it's got to be all about the people. And the way that we do that, we're always learning and developing our program. So it's not only benefits. So some of the extensive benefits that we offer But it's also, education programs, personal and professional growth, flexibility, opportunities for mentorship, and something else. For example, we have what we call affinity groups, which are employee resource groups, and one of them for the military, we call it warriors. So they have camaraderie, networking, resources also within other segments if they want to join those groups as well. And we're constantly striving to improve. And like I said, I'm so impressed with what we offer. It just never ceases to amaze me. So it is a fantastic culture. Absolutely.
Good. And yeah, for sure, camaraderie. We know that that's a big thing that a lot of our military members seek when they're trying to get out of the military. And so, yeah, that's good to know. What about you, Mark?
Well, I'd first say that I'm in really good company here. You guys, both Matt and Cassandra, I would love to work at either one of your operations as well. They sound amazing. I think for us, we're in a unique position, right? Because we want to create a great culture at InstaWork, but we also have people working at other companies all the time. So one of the things we do on our platform are two-way rating systems where our partners or our customers rate the people that work there, but the people that work for us also get to rate those customers. So you can see feedback on other businesses and get, tips and things like that tell people, where the best places are to work and where the culture is really good out there in the field, which I think is pretty cool. And then, I think the biggest thing that InstaWork provides today that so many people are looking for is really flexibility, the ability to kind of call your own shots, right? And pick, do I want to work at all today or this week? And if I do, what kind of things do I want to do? There's so many different opportunities on our platform for those folks that are qualified that you really can do a lot of different things and keep your life pretty interesting. Or if you're, a routine person that wants to do the same thing, that's there for you too. And then I think you think about people that are transitioning out of the military, right? Trying to figure out what they want to do next. The variety of jobs that are on our platform give people a lot of, opportunity to try out different things and see what's interesting to them and try different environments. And it could be a great way to help them figure out, which direction they want to go next. And so, flexibility to me is probably the most impactful thing for our culture that our pros like.
Yeah, and I would definitely add to flexibility is a key for a lot of our military members and spouses, especially because sometimes the military members, they've had so much routine for so long that they're ready to have that flexibility. They're ready to have, those days where they don't want to work, and they want to take the day off. And so a lot of things to consider, but I think we definitely have a good pool from you three for our viewers to view from that, for them to hear from y'all. We have another question here from Xavier, and it says, does the company offer certain benefits for seasonal or part-time workers? Do you want to go with that, Matt? I think you were talking briefly about that too.
Yeah, we do. We offer a lot of our outfitters overall, not dependent on status, benefit packages, right? So I talked about our discount, which is something that most of our outfitters love a lot. Matter of fact, it's one of the most expensive jobs anybody could have because you buy all the time. That said, as far as specific benefit packages for seasonal, we don't have anything additional, right? So there's no medical, dental, anything like that. I believe for part-time, we do have some dental options there, but no medical. But yeah, our benefit package, as far as time off and leaves and discounts is a big one. And, definitely a great place to work. Can I just jump in real quick on, you were talking about culture earlier, and one thing I didn't I told you I'd talk about it for 2 hours, but one of the things, I talked to a couple of my managers in my store here in Buda, and I've got a couple managers that are vets, and I talked to them in preparation for this to really ask them what they enjoyed about this company that I might be able to share because I'm not a vet. And they talked about the camaraderie amongst the vets in the store and how important that is for them and folks that we hire on. And we have a lot of vets that work within my building in Buda as well as throughout the company. And, the culture amongst each other really gives them a good landing spot to be able to communicate with each other and kind of have a starting point in a relationship that I think does add a lot of value. Sorry to go backwards, but I wanted to add that in.
No, thank you for that. That's awesome. That's good to hear. And what about you, Cassandra?
So as far as kind of like what Matt was saying, we don't have additional benefits for seasonal per se, but what I always like to tell people is that don't let it stop you from also applying for just a regular a regular position. If regular is available, literally your benefits are going to be better for the regular position. Really what sets it apart between, and I shouldn't even say it sets it apart, is just in how you quit. Right? So you can still apply for a regular position as long as you properly resign. That's completely fine. So in a way, it's seasonal on your own terms, right? Versus seasonal, if you apply for an actual seasonal position, that can go from anywhere from 2 months to 11 months. It may or may not include certain benefits, or it may have a waiting period. But I always tell people looking for seasonal, don't let the title fool you. If you see a regular position for the warehouse, go ahead and apply for it. Often we have those benefits are effective day one. There are, going to be some advantages to that. The only thing that we say is, hey, properly resign, which is the click of a button so that you're in good standing, and make seasonal on your terms.
Well, that's really good advice. And I guess, I think that's good for them to hear as well, because that's true. I think some people don't realize that they can just do that. They can apply for a regular job, and who knows, their situation may change and they may stick with it that way. They may think they want seasonal, and then, they find out, hey, I can do this. I like this. So yeah, that's really good advice. Anything to add, Mark?
Not really, although I agree with Cassandra, right? There's a lot to be said for resigning in the right way, right? You can pretty much, you don't have to marry someone for life in a job, right? So as long as you resign in the right way, it goes a long way. As far as InstaWork is concerned with benefits, for most of our seasonal or temporary work, there really aren't. There are other types of benefits, but not really medical, dental, that kind of thing. There are some outliers there for longer term roles and things like that qualify for Affordable Care Act and things like that. But for the short term roles, there typically are not.
All right, awesome. Good to know. Our next question we have is resumes remain a key initial step in the application process. What resume or preparation advice do you all have to get them ready for your company in particular? I don't know who wants to go for that one first.
I can jump in there. I would just say, resume, it really depends on the position that you're applying for, right? Most of those entry-level positions or any seasonal position, it's not necessary. I mean, work history matters. Short and concise, I think, is really important. As I look at management candidates or team lead type candidates, so higher level hourly positions, if there's a resume in there, if it's a 5-page resume, that's just a lot of information, right? So I would always recommend people keep it kind of short, 1 page. Give me the information. What are the highlights? What are your kind of career? Where have you been? What have you done? What do you want to do? What are you looking to gain from it? And then kind of go from there, right? That's as far as a resume goes. I don't need a lot. Just let me know who you are and where you've worked and what you've done. And again, it really varies depending on the position that you're applying for.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because especially coming from the military side, and if they're coming from the government side, we know that their version of resumes, which could be OPRs or EPRs, can be 4 to 10 pages long. And so that's a good reminder for our military community to remember that, in the civilian sector, they have so many resumes they're reviewing that you need to catch their eye, and you need to keep it short, quick, and sweet straight to the point. Cassandra?
Well, and I think
go ahead.
Oh, just real quick, I was going to say to that point, I'm not a vet, right? So I don't know all the information that you're putting on there, but you put your service and the time that you've been. That's a great place for me to start a conversation, because now I know you're a service member. Now tell me a little bit about your time in the service. What did you do that applies to my company, and what area do you think would best fit you, right? That's where that conversation really stems from, I think, to that point.
Awesome. Yes. What about you, Cassandra? No worries.
So this is where I'm not all that much help, because with our warehouse, we don't require a resume. It literally has no place for you to even put one. So I am not the best source there. What I can say from my own personal experience with Amazon and dealing with my resume, when I was trying to change roles is that one size doesn't fit all, right? So there's nothing wrong with tailoring your resume to a specific job. Like my resume for transportation is a little bit different than my one for HR, and that's okay. You know, nobody's going to frown upon that if you have, you know, changes tailoring to that job. So that's just some personal advice. But like I said, with general warehouse, it is not required.
And that may also be another selling point for some people. They're probably done with resumes. They may just want to apply there and say, hey, I'm going to go there instead of, so I don't have to worry about a resume. What about you, Mark?
So we're similar in the way that our flexible jobs, you don't need to have a resume on there, although you are building a profile when you create your account and you apply for a job. So, you know, some of the similar information is going to go on there. For our internal jobs, we do look at resumes, and my advice, not just for our company, but for any company, similar to what Cassandra just said, is that, you know, think about the job you want or what you're trying to get out of it when you turn in that resume or when you create it. Oftentimes nowadays, people will have like a little objective at the top or a little paragraph or something, you know, highlighting. And, you know, I see all the time when people turn in resumes and it's like, you wrote this for something totally different, right? It says like, you know, my goal is to get a job as a school teacher, and you applied for a sales rep. You know what I mean? Like, just take the time to think about the message you're going to deliver, because most people are pretty busy at work, right? So you only have so much time to grab their attention. And if the first couple lines are not interesting, then it's probably not going to grab you. So I would suggest that first line be relevant to the job you're applying for. Experience hopefully is relevant, and, you know, highlight accomplishments. You know, the list of duties is probably less impressive than your list of accomplishments. You know, what did you actually achieve there? I had a relative when I was like in high school or college tell me that, you know, all those lines should start with like a verb, basically, or an adjective, like something describing what you accomplished, right? So just a piece of advice there. And don't overthink it, but make it relevant so that it grabs somebody's attention.
Good. That's all good advice. And of course, we always provide them with resources. There are so many resources out there to help our military community with their resumes and interview skills, and so forth. And so our next question is, what are some paths to career progression in your organization? What are some examples of how a new hire may advance their career over time within your company? Does anybody want to take that one first?
I'd love to start that one. For us, if you're downloading our app and signing up, and Chase, I know you're sending some questions on the Q&A there, and this probably would speak right to you. Like the easiest way to look at our flexible jobs is to download that app in the App Store. And so as you start working shifts with us, the next progression you're going to make is to what we call shift leads, where you get to be the main point of contact for that shift group. And then from there, our on-site captains, which I was describing at some of the stadiums and larger groups, is the next progression there. So there are some pretty easy levels to grow within the company. And then we find that a lot of our great pros that love working at InstaWork are the ones that love to apply for jobs internally. They want to become sales reps because they feel like they're out there seeing this opportunity or talking to people. So we hire a lot of sales reps and account managers that come from the field that have worked for us. Also, what we call our community operations specialists, the folks that support the workers out there in the field. So lots of ways to keep advancing.
Awesome. Who wants to go next, Matt?
Yeah, I think there's lots of growth opportunity within a retail environment. And, you start in at either a seasonal, part-time, full-time level position, and within our retail store organization. So that's our entry point at any position, whether it's a cashier, a warehouse outfitter, sales floor outfitter, that's the entry point. And there's varying levels of those positions as far as how we determine which department people go into. That said, the next level from there is an hourly team lead position. And the next level from that is our exempt or salaried sales managers, group sales managers, which are like assistant managers. And then we've got an assistant general manager, and then it's me, the general manager. You asked for an example. I had a young man I hired about 4 years ago. He started with us seasonally as a cashier for us during the holiday season, and he's an Army vet. And over 20 years, he, I say young man, that's fair. He, at any rate, started as a part-time cashier for us, worked his way, did a great job in the holiday season. Ultimately, a lead position came open. He applied for it. He got it. Did that job for about a year, did a fantastic job. We ended up opening up a club membership manager of our MasterCard program, and he applied for that. We promoted him into that exempt salaried position, and now he's my hunting manager. And, has got a great career ahead of him and a lot of great opportunity to continue to grow and develop. And, in a retail environment, if you want to be at work and you enjoy customers and you enjoy doing things and you're up to challenges and you're flexible and want to come to work and do a good job and put a smile on your face, there's tons of room to grow. And it can happen as fast or as slow as you want it to, right? If you've got it all right away and there's spots that come open and the timing works, then that's great. If you're willing to move to different parts of the country or able to move to different parts of the country, there may be a position open somewhere else that's not open in the store that you're interested in. So, there's tons of room for growth and opportunity for folks in the retail environment. And again, the timeline of it is really dependent on the person and the positions that become available.
That's good to hear. What about Amazon, Cassandra?
This is actually one of my favorite topics because before I came to this company, really, all I really knew about them was I got packages at my door almost every day and I saw their vans everywhere. So having an opportunity to come in here and really see the amount of opportunity. For example, I looked at our internal job board earlier today. Right before this call, there were over 38,000 openings. I personally think that that's unbelievable. And what I love about it is that you can come in from the warehouse and after only 30 days, you have access to that job board. So you can start looking into transferring. You can start looking into different departments. And the other thing that I always joke around and say is, I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. There's nothing wrong with that, right? You don't have to know, you don't have to be set. There's no stigma there, right? So we welcome this. You want to go ahead and do what I did? Hey, I started in transportation, which by the way, I do not have a background in. I just thought it was interesting, so I wanted to try something different. And we welcome that. I did that for a couple of years, decided, hey, I want to try something else. So we don't want to limit you. We encourage movement, that growth, trying different things. If you want to stay in the same position for 20 years, outstanding. I know people who have done 5 different roles in 6 years. That's fine too. One of the other things that I will say I'm very impressed with at Amazon is the internal promotion opportunities. So we have countless stories of people that come in through the warehouse, and to kind of equate it to military, you're coming in as, say, an E1, and within a few years, you are that 05, you are that 06. And it's very attainable in a short amount of time, believe it or not. And I have countless stories for that. So I always tell people, please don't look at warehouse from that stigmatized view that it's somehow a dead-end job, because it really isn't. To me, it's a stepping stone for where you think you may want to be or just what you want to try. And it really opens up a lot of different paths. So just a few things about Amazon that most people don't know, but it's one of my absolute favorite things to talk about. So tons of opportunity there.
That's great. Awesome. If there aren't any more last questions, the last thing we would like to ask, if any of our panelists, if y'all have any last closing remarks or tips that you'd like to give our viewers.
I can go. Just first of all, thank you for your service, and thank you for the families that support the people that are serving. And there's opportunities everywhere. I think you heard from 3 great companies today, and I think we'd all be happy to have applications from anybody that's interested. And I think you'll see in the workforce today, whatever company you reach out to, that things have changed so much to where companies are really accommodating all sorts of people, all sorts of schedules, things like that. And so the world is your oyster. Try everything out. Try Amazon, try Instawork, try Bass Pro Shops, and see what you like. And the best of luck to everyone. And thank you again.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark. Do you have any last remarks or tips, Matt?
Yeah, to Mark's point, thank you very much for your service, right? I mean, it's an incredible honor to be on this call and to be able to talk to people and hopefully help place some folks into some of our stores. If you don't mind coming into work and looking at fish in an aquarium or, seeing an elephant or, lions. They're not alive. I mean, we maybe at night, like night at the museum, but at any rate, it's a great company to work for. It's a great place to be. Tons of opportunities and lots of different levels and lots of different aspects. And, honored to be here, honored to be able to share some time with you. I hope we covered some good stuff. But, man, if you want to come work for a company and have a lot of fun on a daily basis, Cabela's and Bass Pro is a great place to go. And sounds like you got some other great opportunities out there. It's definitely a great market to get a job in, though.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. And what about you, Cassandra?
So just to also echo, thank you so much for your time, for having us. We always appreciate being in front of our service members and their families. It's always a huge honor. One of the tips that I do want to give is something that Amazon does is regarding education. So for example, if you do come in as a warehouse worker, after 90 days, you're eligible for, say, our career choice program, where we will prepay full tuition, books, and fees. We also pay for upskilling programs. And I mention this because a lot of times you may not want to use your GI Bill. You may want to defer that. So it's a great opportunity to get a free education on us and save your GI Bill for, say, a master's degree, or even, to defer it to your children. So that's one of the tips that I also like to put out for military. But other than that, just be open-minded, right, with some of these jobs, because there are so many places you can go with any of these companies. You just have to look at it from a broader perspective. And thank you so much again for your time.
Yes, thank you so much to our panelists. We really appreciate all of your valuable insights into your organization and industry. Again, this video is recorded, so our viewers can definitely go back to hiringourheroes.org/resources to gain more information and also see this recording. And then to our viewers, thank you all for joining us today and for your questions, and everybody have a great day. Bye.